These are the ones. These are the ones. These are the mornings we're looking forward to. We got the new camera back. We got the good energy. We got the good vibes going on in the Discord because the Brigade's doing what they do and taking things down. I'm thinking about renaming the winner circle. Some ideas been thrown out there. Yeah, I think we're just gonna call it the I was inverted circle. I think we're just going with it. Big shouts, Paul. Big shouts, Brandon. BRNDXQ. I always butcher his screen name, but Brandon took down the bomb. I was inverted. Paul took down the battle royale. You love to see it. Numi took down something in golf or a second in golf there. All sorts of good stuff happening for the Brigade. And one real good thing happening today. Numi, what do you say? We got no Nez, man. We got no Nez. That's
Oh man, yeah. I just want to also say shout out baby Stevie getting second in that afternoon slate too. So
oh yeah,
nice
yeah.
little.
You had a good sweat in the afternoon. Baby Stevie had a good sweat in the afternoon. Baby Stevie.
We were fighting it out up there for a while.
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't play any of the afternoon, so that one wasn't top of mind for me. Baby Stevie flip flopped me in the last night's contest as well. I was leading for a long time, and then he took the second Gallup touchdown, vaulted him ahead, and then the Zeke touchdown broke the slate, and he just basically needed to have 5 Cowboys, and didn't have any of those really. So yeah, a great day yesterday for the Brigade. Not great financially for me, like still slightly losing day, but like that was largely due in fact to I was way too overweight Travis Etienne in the DeBomb contests. Like I managed my exposures.
Same, 3 of 4 for
but I
me.
was way too. Say again.
I was 3 of 4 in the DeBomb. I think you were 6 of 8. You said.
Yeah, something like that. So it was heavy.
Yep.
We took a stance on ATN there, and it didn't pay off, but all good. I mean, I really liked our process last week. We talked about a lot of the good game environments, all those afternoon game environments. Hey, here's another one. Raise It. Raise It's had some good sweats recently. Love it. Yeah, I don't know. How did Sunday go for you, just in general?
Yeah, I mean, I won't get into like obviously because sweats don't matter when they don't happen, but yeah, no, I'm fine with my process. I've told you guys over and over, like I told you right away I wanted AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. I jumped on the Justin Fields. That was looking good until he kind of plateaued. I was all over Tyreek Hill, who got that nice bomb to salvage it. All over Devontae. We were kind of all off the early running backs, and then we were all on the CMC train. So I told it again, like we have the pieces, which we can talk into this. It prompted you to just like, is there an edge? You know what I mean? Last night you're just looking like, what's going on? Like Paul keeps winning this. Like we have everything. You look at your exposures, it's like this should translate to something, but it's like, I mean, I went through 20 lineups that had a pretty good chance, and it was just a 1v1 swap. If I drafted someone in a different spot there, it's a totally different story for about 20 lineups. So, I mean, granted, you could say that for anyone, but that's just how I like to, without having like a results database to kind of to go through and check lineups. And you know what I mean? That's how I kind of check my process. And it's like, I was there. I had all the pieces. I just once again did not put it together. The afternoon was fun. I really like the afternoons. I told Nez, it's just like, I think that's where some of the most edges lie, in the fact that, I mean, Gino was going almost undrafted or almost last round every time. P. Ryan was going third, fourth round. Metcalf and Lockett were freer than free. So it was just like, yeah, I really like that afternoon slate, and I was looking pretty good until that Tyreek bomb that just flipped the leaderboard. So, but yeah, otherwise I came out positive. I had a nice NBA sweat too. Shouldn't have sweat the game, but I did. And then within 5 minutes of the game ending, of course, they beat me by 5, but was holding on hope.
Hashtag
never
sweat.
Never sweat. But I mean, I like NBA, so I'm watching the game. I'm having it at the time.
No, of course.
They're looking like they're going to blow the Pacers out of the water. They slowly come back, and then Dame comes back in the game, and yeah, it was over. But yeah, I mean, again, yeah, I don't know. I like my process, like you said. I mean, if you just go off our sheet, we were kind of all on these plays that were the plays to go off of. So
Yeah, no, for
In
sure.
hindsight, I like.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just want to say, yo, all good vibes in the chats here. All these GMs, what's
Us
going
GM
on? What's
fellas.
going on? Paul's rocking the same shirt as you. Big respects to that. Chad always doing the good work in here.
Yeah,
Fucking
one
up.
thing I
Yeah,
want to
he had
say
no
is
sweat.
I said that I'm gonna wear my Badge Bro shirt, and that's gonna be the reason I take something down. Well, it was actually just the reason why Paul took something down, and he was reading it. So,
There you go.
so
Yeah.
yeah, apparently it's just if you wear a Badge Bro shirt of any kind on any slate, you automatically have a little more luck your way. So
Yeah, a little more run good in your pocket. Yeah, let's just jump right into this. The BR winner, Paul took it down with the Jalen Hurts. You basically needed the Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown,
yep,
skinny there. And like we said all week, it was so affordable. We were accustomed to, like, it was so rare to get these two players together in previous weeks. And this week it was like, oh, you could have them with Kelsey almost every time if you
yeah,
wanted. Paul saying in the chat that it was a Monday draft and it was his 12th draft. So good context to that, before
yep,
ADP kind of formulated and stuff. But to be fair, I think you still could have got this combination on Sunday morning.
100%. Yeah,
If yeah,
you could have. I mean, so I don't
I
have the
mean,
on your phone. It'll tell you, but I'm assuming it goes Devontae, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, and some combo. Then he gets CMC and DK, or maybe it's Evan Ingram. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I mean, I, I think it was being talked about how the Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown was so readily available that it was scaring
mhm,
some people off, and I'm like, I don't think that should scare you off. I think you should just make up more combinations of that. And I know that's maybe results oriented, but I mean, I was just like, I know it's available, but when it's available,
mhm.
shouldn't we just be smashing that? Like, and then just getting different, like it's just something really interesting. Like, cause a lot of it I feel like would be Kelsey, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, because of the way the board was positioned, and that
Yeah.
Kelsey dud kind of just weeded out those teams. And then he had a
Mhm.
Devonta, which obviously was a little bit different build. So yeah, I like that a lot. It again, I have all of these players. A little Evan Ingram is my least owned of all of them, but yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of exposure to all those guys up there. So I
I
like that.
uh I actually had no Evan Ingram this weekend, and I think that was a huge oversight on my part. We talked about how we love that game environment.
Yep.
I was so heavy on ATN. I was so heavy on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was mixing in Swift. I had more Swift exposure than I had Jamal exposure. I was all over that game environment, and the fact to just leave out, the Evan Ingram was probably really bad because we talked about how volatile tight end was and how top
Yeah.
heavy it was, and we should just be throwing darts at the end of drafts. But I just fell in love with the Cole Kmet, Justin Fields minis late in the week there, and it just didn't go down.
Yeah,
Um,
I got the order he picked it in too. It was Devontae from the 2 spot, and then
mhm.
Hurts at the 11, AJ Brown then in the 3rd at the 14, Christian McCaffrey at the 23, and then he did take DK first and then Evan Ingram last. So
Yeah. So a
that's
lot
how
of chatter going on in the chats, like T Bear's asking, like, how'd you get that combo? And so this combo, I think, was readily available. I saw this combo
yep.
a lot. And then Brett Boy adding some context to that, where he's like, he saw Hurts Brown fall to the 3-4. I had a
Yeah.
5th round Jalen Hurts on Sunday morning, and Numi did as well. So I mean, just
Mhm.
just speaking to how crazy the drafts can get at, like, just isolated intervals early on Sunday morning, late on Saturday night, stuff like that. But yeah, this is the crux of it all right here, is what James brings up. It's a great team. Everyone was we talked up the DK stuff. We talked up
Yeah.
that. We talked about the premium stack. I talked about how Christian McCaffrey was my favorite play at ADP other than Justin Fields. And then all of a sudden, it's the Evan Ingram's the difference maker for you. Not much different than a showdown slate where the
Yep.
one-off tight end who gets in the end zone that is low owned is the big difference maker for them there. So shout out, Paul. Great
I
lineup.
th- I think
Great
that's
thought process.
I mean, it just goes in line with how the slate played out. We said from the beginning of the slate that in order for these other tight ends to matter, the top tight
Mhm.
ends had to fail. What did the top
Right.
tight ends do? They failed. That took away a 101 pick, a 3rd round pick in a lot of drafts, and a 3rd, 4th, and some for Kittle, maybe 5th. Like, You take those out, just duds, and then you have this free tight ends like Ingram doing that. Like that is and Pat Freiermuth, who I was on a lot too. So yeah, shout out Saints.
So
I know he was in the Discord too. So
shout out Saints. He was for sure. He was hanging out there. I can't remember his Discord handle, but basically just flipping DK for Garrett Wilson in that 5th, 6th round there, and then getting on Freiermuth as the one-off tight end at slightly higher ownership, but still in a good pass volume spot. Kind of a more commonplace tight end play than Evan Ingram was, but the differentiator was just 2 extra little points from Evan Ingram, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I think that was a good call, is the fact that you're scrolling down for tight end, because it's like, if these top ones don't hit and all of these other kind of like bottom tier are being picked over and over and over again, just getting a little different with that Ingram pick. So
absolutely. And then the reason I want to bring up a couple more lineups here is like the same, we talk about scroll the F down, and every single one of these lineups has one piece. Like all 4 of these, all 5 of these are real chalky, nice premium targets that we were talking up. Freiermuth was going in damn near every draft, and then boom, what do? You flip the build with 1 Isaiah Pacheco pick. You flip the build with 1 Evan Ingram pick. You flip the build with this one had Garrett Wilson, so a little chalky-er, but like still same sort of thing. Later in the week, Garrett Wilson was going undrafted. Here's flip the build with Christian Watson, right?
I'm on all of these guys, man. Oh, now it's hurting a little bit. Like seeing Pacheco, seeing Watson, like go read that read up, man. I'm over all of these guys. I think the only one that I wasn't on was like, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm just sad. I'm salty. Good job, Paul. Way to take it. At least Paul could take it down. So I'm just like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then this Samaje, one for Raisin, I wanted to bring up the Samaje swap. Very sharp play. The one-off Tyler Lockett was basically making the exact same bet as you were making with DK Metcalf, and then just getting owned. Less owned. Yes, good point. And then getting on the Samaje P. Ryan is, I mean, there's a legit case that after these last 3 games that Samaje fits that offense better than Joe Mixon does right now. Like he's been a cash game lock the last like three slates that he's been on, kind of thing, or 2 after the receiving game, and then Mixon being out. Anyways, just interesting to bring out. Here, Chad bringing up. I was going to bring up Chad's sheet here. Tight end wasn't the differentiator, he's saying, because it was pretty flat. Yeah, it was differentiator in terms of the fact that you had to have these late one-off pieces, because like this for me, Chad, proves my point, but by you bringing this up, is the differentiator right here, because everyone had Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews, everyone had these 100% owned guys, and nobody was on Fant, Ingram, Dulcich. Everett was kind of drafted, not really, and Cole Kmet. 2 of those 5 I wrote up in our article in Dulcich and Kmet, how like, hey, these are the late round guys that I was throwing darts at. So like, I mean, it wasn't a differentiator in terms of the score separating. It was a differentiator in the score separating versus the chalk first round tight ends. That's what I mean by that.
And CMC was going 4th, even 5th round until like he got that check mark. So a lot of early teams like Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday could probably get a 4th round CMC.
Exactly. Yeah. And Pete passed on 4th round or 5th round CMC on his stream on Sunday morning. He was building like, he was in his build that he wanted, but yeah.
He was up there for a little bit when those Hurts double stacks were really hitting. And no one else was doing anything. I was like, there was like 2. There was a Pete over that lineup in 3rd and one in like 9th, like really early. But I was just like, there you go. Like you said that he brought that exposure instead of doing it on DK. He's like, I'm just gonna do it on Underdog. So I like that.
Really happy that our cover boy on Friday. I mean, I want to get this straight. We're not touts. We're not here to pump plays. We're not here to, it's a lot of fun that we're writing content and stuff, but we're skin in the game players, right? Like I played, $2,000 worth of entries on UD this weekend, and and a lot more on DraftKings. But just in terms of like our playing and stuff, it's like we're just talking through these games together and building a community where we can share these ideas together. I'm not trying to pump plays. I'm not trying to, like the whole Nick Chubb stuff last week, that sort of thing. Like I was just sharing why I was off Nick Chubb. Did it work out? Yes. Does it work out every single time? Of course not. Does it work out even 40% of the time? I don't know. But like,
I mean,
it's just fun to talk through.
Yeah, that goes hand in hand. And the reason why we started doing this was we weren't touts. We grinded and maxed all of these MLB streets over and over. And like, we knew what we wanted to do for football. So it's like, we talk about this in a Discord. Might as well just chat and have anyone else who wants to join us. So yeah, that's exactly what we do. Like, we're just here for the good time, bring the community together, get more people, share the info, pick Iowa's Inverted's brain every week and figure out how to, take him down instead of him.
Yeah, I'm not giving up, Paul. I'm not giving up on you being in the winner's circle, getting you on this program, man. Like this is.
We might have to do like a weird Saturday stream or something where it's like Badge Bros on the weekend, and it's just like, all right, Paul. Now you don't have a job. Like, come on, get on this show. Yeah.
Okay, so Chad, I was looking on the sheet here. Here's the overarching results and the correlating draft percentage based on our sheet. Or I keep saying ours. It's Chad's. Chad is the ringleader, taking control of all of this. Can't give him enough props. But just looking at like some of these plays down here, like Justin Fields was only 36% owned. I was like, that's my favorite play on the slate. Jared Goff in the article, 2% owned. Geno Smith, cover boy, 5% owned. Like, I'm just bringing up all these ways that like there's edges in these contests if we just keep hunting, right? So the optimal would have been Devontae in the first round, Jalen Hurts in the second round, Amon-Ra in the third. So not a skinny stack with AJ Brown, though AJ Brown was close. In the fourth round, it would have been Tyler Lockett. In the fifth round, it would have been Swift. And in the sixth round, it would have been Ingram. So a heavy 1-1-3-1 build with no premium running back, no premium tight end.
Yeah.
Following Nooms? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. And I mean, that just shows that we can flip the build. Obviously, we need you're more so predicting and picking rank names out of a hat. Like, I think this guy's going to do it compared, like you're picking the parlay together. But I mean, yeah. So you said Devontae Smith in the first round. Is that what you said? Can you go back and just read
no,
that again?
no. Devontae Adams.
Okay, yeah.
It wouldn't have been a stack.
You might have said Smith, and I
think I just said Devontae. I think I just said
Devontae. And I heard Hurts. Okay, yeah. So Adams with Hurts next in the second, and then AJ Brown.
No, not AJ Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it wouldn't have been a skinny.
So just the optimal. So naked Hurts technically.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Tyler Lockett, DeAndre Swift, and Evan Ingram. But
yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. I haven't looked into next week yet in terms of like where tight end's gonna fall and stuff like that, but it's going to be very interesting to have so many drafts recently where it's been elite tight end, elite tight end, elite tight end, and then all of a sudden we've had 4 straight games for Mark Andrews where he's been dust. We've had I think 3 or 4, and then we have the Kelsey clunker here, and it's kind of like, okay, are people going to sour on first round tight end all of a sudden? And now some leverage gets reintroduced. But I haven't looked at the slate yet. To be honest, I don't even know if Kelsey's on the main slate.
He's on the slate.
But
yeah, Kelsey Andrews are on the slate along with Kittle. So all the guys are on the slate. It's really gross slate.
Yeah, interesting. Chad's bringing up the fact that he's run an idea past me earlier here where he's going to break up adjusting the sheet by day of the week so we can actually see the trends in which, like, Fields going undrafted to going to like 50% by Friday and that sort of thing, which is really cool. Here you go. So Kelsey gets Denver next week, which means, I mean, in theory, he should be the 1-0-1 again, regardless of result. I don't know that that's definitive, but yeah, we'll wait and see there. I want to bring up Brandon's lineup from DeBomb and I didn't have the goal line stand. Crash Rich's lineup. If you don't mind, just reiterating it. But I think we're going to see more of the same here. Obviously, DeBalm, lower score, smaller field, wasn't necessary to get a Galaxy Brain with the tight end. And just, a Hawkinson 5 was fine. But getting different here with the David Montgomery play, pretty fun little differentiation there. I don't know if when this lineup was drafted, but the fact that Montgomery was taken, it leads me to believe that it might have been a little bit earlier in the week before we had the Fields news, and taking David Montgomery was a bet on volume without Fields. But I don't definitively know that. I don't think it was a bad play either way, but
I like Monty.
Yeah.
I think Fields it obviously hurt his volume. But it could have opened things up for him, is my thought.
Of course you were, Paul. Of course you were. Nobody cares about your lineups, bud. We're done with you. You won the 25.
Oh yeah, no, he was. He was sitting up there.
We talked about your nice lineup, and then
Crash Rich took down the goal line stand with a Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, AJ Brown, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf, and Evan Ingram.
So damn near the same lineup except for the Miles Sanders play and going triple Philadelphia stack there with the running back included. Interesting build.
Yeah.
Actually, I did notice this, Paul, because I was chasing you and I was boxed out because of Kelsey. I did notice that.
Yeah, when I saw that up there, and I was like, "Oh, what's this one player left waiting?" And I'm just like, "It's the 101, of course, Paul." And then what? He had like 0 catches, like near like halftime, or maybe he actually did at halftime. It was tough.
Anyways, anything else to add from yesterday's slate? Numi, we kind of chalked up the results there. Anything in general? Thought process?
No, man, I think we were on it. I think it's, again, like it's to reiterate for anyone, especially myself, it's GPP. We're playing the millie on Underdog, basically the equivalent of a millie on Underdog when it comes to the other contests we have. Like every other contest is like 7,000 max, maybe people, and then we're sitting with 50,000. Like, Paul's on some real good, great process, still gets him home, but like he's the first to say that like he has the great process, and then he's getting home with just having the pieces get there. Like, very well could be. So he is the savant of Underdog, but like to anyone struggling or didn't quite get there, like this contest is extremely, extremely hard to win unless you're Paul. So just know that like maybe look into some other contests. Like, you don't have to do the goal line stand at the bomb. Like I will continue to hype up the afternoon and the edge in that people, you just look at the plays that are the leverage plays and the plays to do in the main slate. And then you go to the afternoon and it's like, they're all readily available. Like, they're all readily available to make any combination you want, because everyone's just drafting the top play, and they're not like Trent Sherfield. No one thought Trent Sherfield could do it. Like Tyler Lockett and DK. No one thought they could both do it with Geno. So like, no offense. It's just, the afternoon is a fun place. And I think that's one of the contests that has the most edges. So,
okay. Yeah. Good to bring up there. Yeah. Tons of luck involved. So guys, we're all living in a simulation. It's fine. Have you drafted any of the Monday night, Thursday night?
Man, I can't do these anymore. I'm going to be honest. I talked with you guys yesterday. I've had 2 weeks in a row where I've drafted a team. I haven't got an email, haven't got anything in my account about a refund, and a team's just gone. Just poof, out of the air, gone. And it's like, I don't know how readily available. I didn't do the draft that Diggs and Allen was on the other draft. It seemed like that was harder to get, maybe not. But like the fact that was available on the Sunday and those weren't canceled, but yet my JT CD was canceled. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm over
I
these.
think it just has to. It has to do with the context of the draft room.
I had 2 badges in the room.
More so than the draft that was obtained. Yeah, interesting.
But I totally
because I still have mine.
I don't have it. I just don't get it. I really don't. So I'm kind of just I'm putting my effort towards hoops and the main slate.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, I mean the two games there's a lot of variance involved in these. Like I built some super sick teams and was in a really
Yeah.
good position to win, and it just matters not sometimes.
Also, I
And
know this is not NFL related and just totally off topic, but for the sake that we're MLB bros, Verlander to the Mets.
nice. I mean that's a really nice 1-for-1 replacement for DeGrom. I mean
Yeah,
not
and I
quite
have a
on the
feeling.
same
Well, I have
level,
a
but
feeling they're gonna get some more arms, at least two to three more arms. Like he's gonna
mhm.
anyway. So, but
But
yeah,
him and Scherzer there. I mean
it's fun.
that's
They're
incredible.
they're
Yeah.
reunited. They're reunited
Oh yeah, actually I didn't
from
even
their
think about
Detroit
it from
days.
that angle from the Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, but sorry. All right,
Um.
enough baseball talk. We're losing viewers.
Damn, I'm trying to find it here. I
No, man, you're and like you have a right to to you joke tilt like you. I know you don't actually get tilt. You're out here just like telling us like lads. I look at these exposures. If you're telling me these exposures equate to this outcome, and it's like, dude, you've been on them. Like you have just
yeah.
like it's like the five of the top five people out there are the highest on the score, but it's like, no, you didn't have that right combo there, bud. You didn't have it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but you've been killing it. Like it just terms of like just I don't know, just getting the pieces right or getting the pieces there. You're just not getting that puzzle together. You have that one puzzle piece
not
that fell off the
yet.
table, and you can't finish that
Can't
puzzle.
find that corner piece.
You
Can't
can't
find that
find it.
corner.
No, you cannot. Although, but
um,
Paul's over here. He's done like 5,000 like freaking piece puzzles already. So
okay, so this slate, we got Saints Bucks tonight
yeah,
on this one. We'll run through this one quick. I did about 20 of them. I couldn't really sleep last night for whatever
I
reason.
saw your
I
GM. That was a pretty nice team.
I think it's more common. I was looking for like a rare
I know.
one because I love tweeting out like the
I
rare
know you do.
combination
I
the
know you
GM
do.
bit, but it's probably my favorite thing going right now. But that one, I don't think it's as rare as I thought originally when I screen grabbed it. Now that I've done a couple more, but we got
Gotcha.
Saints Bucks tonight. Bucks are 3-point favorites at home. 41.5-point total. And then the Thursday night game is Raiders Rams. Raiders are 6-point favorites at Rams.
That's
44 and a
crazy.
half. 44 and a half total there. So yeah, expecting John Wolford back again to be starting then. He got
Man.
rolled up on, he got left from the game and then came back. But that's how we're drafting it right now. Some very interesting names. This is a very top heavy slate, in my opinion. Almost every draft board looks the exact same to start. It's some combination of Josh Jacobs or Devontae Adams at the number 1 slot and number 2 slot. These two are kind of interchangeable right now. And then inevitably on this corner, most people just click Brady Godwin. And then sometimes people are clicking Godwin and then Alvin Kamara, and then seeing if one of the quarterbacks falls back to them. That's kind of the gist of all these draft boards. So the beginning of these boards all are shaking out to look very similar, and where all the leverage kind of exists, because the next two pieces that go, or the next three pieces that go off every single time is Derek Carr, Mike Evans, and Chris Olave in some kind of, or sorry, I missed Brady in there, in some kind of combination, right? This is kind of the top, whatever that is, 8 players. They go out of the first 8 slots. And then the person picking at the third is always left with the decision point here, right? Like, now what do I do kind of thing. And I think there's a very interesting decision. Yeah.
That's interesting right there with White and Fournette, because isn't the status that Fournette's coming back?
Yeah. So Fournette was limited. He's got the Q tag beside him, which is driving his value down a little bit. But everyone kind of in the know knows that he practiced in a limited fashion. They had an extended week off. He practiced in a limited fashion 3 straight days. And let me clarify that real quick, because for some reason I want to say he practiced in full 3 straight days and not limited 3 straight days. And I don't want to butcher that.
Here. Brady doubles for all the money since they aren't on the main slate. This is this is when they're just gonna smash.
This is when the touchdown regression comes back. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke there. So Leonard Fournette practiced in full all 3 days and still has the Q tag hip. I think if it was any other player, any other situation, he wouldn't have the Q tag beside his name right now.
Full off of a week's rest.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, and
interesting.
he's still got the Q side. For what it's worth, ETR has Leonard Fournette projected ahead of White. This backfield is very interesting because
Yep.
we've kind of seen a flippening, and we're not sure if it's going to stick now that the other guy is healthy. So we'll see here. Very interesting discourse there. We'll kind of talk through where do you end up between those two, or would you be mixing and matching? What are you thinking here?
I think I would be mixing and matching just because I really don't know. I mean, they seem to like they've wanted to, like you said, they've wanted to turn the tides to go to Rashad White, and
Hmm.
he looks like is the better runner, has more juice, has more pop. But then again, like it's just I don't know. I feel like if Leonard Fournette is going to be fully healthy, they're not just gonna make it a 70-30 Rashad White. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
That's just
Yeah.
my thought. Handed to take. I don't have any of the stats. Don't know anything like that. I'm not looking it up because again, I'm not playing the slate. But I would mix them in. Another
Mhm.
thing, I just right off the bat, isn't it narrative street for Evans? Basically, he's playing
Yeah.
Lattimore.
Yeah. So
So
that's
expect him to
another
get
one.
ejected.
Yeah, exactly. That's another one where Lattimore has quote unquote owned his ass for
Yeah.
for years,
Yep.
and that's always been a narrative in play. Lattimore limited all week long, but expected
Mm.
to play. Just something of
He's not
note
missing
there from
out.
the.
Yeah. He's
No,
gonna
no,
play.
he's
Yeah,
not
he's
missing
yeah.
it. And the last time that these two did play, they did both get ejected, right? Or one got ejected, the other got suspended, something like that earlier in the year in the London game. So I mean, it's not a complete moot point to not bring it up, right? Like it's within
Yeah.
the range of outcomes that these two
That's
on the
yeah.
first snap just punch each other in the face and the
That's the
game's
one
over for both of
that's
them,
the
right?
one matchup for a guy that does not look into matchups. Yeah, I think I said that. I'm just talking out. I'm just talking out of my ass when it comes to this slate, guys. Just know that. Like, I just handed the take. Worried about matchups now. It's gonna be like all Lenny. No, yeah. When it comes to matchups, like that's the only thing is like just because we've actually seen it, it's caused like Evans to just not play in terms of ejections and just get in his
Mhm.
head. And it's so, I mean, we know what it does. I mean, isn't this the one where Tom Brady was barking or Lattimore barked at Brady and Evans just ran off the sideline and just destroyed him?
Yeah,
Like that's
that's
okay.
exactly what
Cool.
happened.
Happened
Yeah.
earlier. Cool. All right.
Yeah. A couple other names to bring up here. I'll talk about the tight end position separately because I think it's a very interesting discussion. Some names that are thrust up here. I think there is big leverage in drafting Cam Akers over Karen Williams. Kyron
Karen.
Williams. Yeah, Karen.
Karen.
Kyron Williams. We basically saw that backfield flip again this week, and don't want to be crazy results oriented. And we know McVay's kind of hot hand approach. But I mean, Cam Akers went from he might be cut, he's not on the team, to okay, we're going to cut Daryl Henderson instead, bring you back, and then give you an opportunity of 17 touches this week. He didn't do much with them. This has kind of
Yep.
been the theme with Cam Akers, even dating back to last year when he came back off the Achilles and played those last playoff games. Was even when they leaned on him as a workhorse and he was getting 15 plus carries, that he was a 3 yards per carry clip kind of player.
Yep.
But if you're going to be available in the 5th and 6th round and you're going to get 12 to 15 projectable touches, I'm gravitating towards your name over Ben Skoranek, over Hunter Renfro probably doesn't play, over Jarvis Landry, over Van Jefferson.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very interesting there, right?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, like I for one have no idea. Like with the Rams backfield, we
Mhm.
know, like you said, McVay rides the hot hand. We also know McVay could randomly just bench a guy and then he's no longer active for
Yeah.
2 weeks. So yeah, we really don't know. But I agree with you. I mean, just a touchdown equity. I like Akers there. I feel like against that defense, it's really interesting. Just looking at that again, not playing the slate, Akers seems like a fun is so you is if you go back, or I don't know, you can tell me without going back, is Kyron being drafted, is it higher projected them and being drafted higher than Akers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of been my point of leverage thus far, is kind of been flipping those two. And then I have been
Last 2 weeks,
gravitating.
look at that. They just flip-flop. So we really don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, they went from 30-70 to 72-28. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both within range of outcomes here. I
Yeah.
think you need exposure to both. One thing I do want to say about just the Rams pass catching core in general, or core in general, is Skoranek and Van Jefferson are heavily out snapping the remainder of the group. But Tutu Atwell has break the slate speed. He is a poor man's Brandon Cooks in that offense right now. And Brandon Powell, primarily a special teamer in the past, but somehow mixed in 3 carries last week. So they are finding creative ways to get him the ball. Just a couple names as like later dart throws to get different in these contests. I've mixed those two in a little bit. I haven't done it with Wolfert yet, admittedly. I'm not sure if that's optimal or not, but just in terms of like names at like the bottom of the board here, my eyes are gravitating to Skoranek and Julio Jones opposed to and Tutu Atwell, like I just said, opposed to any of the other ones down here. I do have 2 Shaheed teams. Just we've seen him do it on island game slates so far this year, where he's just randomly, they've scripted plays early in games to get him the ball in explosive situations. I don't know. It's a pure dart. It's kind of fun. But for my money, this is kind of how the board's been shaking for me. I'm not sure that we get Russell Gage tonight. I kind of think we don't. That's where my mind is at. But there is some merit in the same regard to mixing some Gage if you feel like this trajectory, the full practice there, he comes out there. But I'm seeing some projection models with Brashad Perriman projected over him, which is just another name to throw out there if we do get an inactive to Gage. I'm not sure any of these names end up mattering, but I do think in terms of the slate, like context matters. Tight end position is where this slate is very fun. And this will be the great separator, I believe. Darren Waller is free. He's largely going undrafted.
Oh, shit. Here we go again with Darren Waller.
Exactly. I don't think he plays this week. I will just precursor it by saying
now he plays.
Right. Yeah.
Because you've been on him. You're the one that's been on him and preaching him over and over in right cause. Like, not that it's wrong, but you've been on him. And every time it's like, oh, no, ruled out. And now it's going to be like, oh, here comes Darren Waller from the sky. And he's just going to, it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. I don't think he plays tonight. I think Cameron Brate. So this is an interesting thing about the Q tag and for recreational players playing. Cameron Brate is not questionable in my mind. Cameron Brate did not practice due to an illness for 2 days. Then he came back, practiced in full. He played last week. These Q tags are not built the same. But my point being here is I'm taking Darren Waller in the last round with the last pick every single time if I know Higbee or Moreau are still available. Does that make sense to me?
So hold up.
So if the draft board,
are you saying that is it 3 people drafts?
3 people drafts.
So then it's Hill and Higbee would get drafted, and you'd be sitting there with a Foster Moreau, Darren Waller, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And
if I'm sitting there, if I'm sitting there with any combination of Waller, Higbee, and Moreau as the last pick on the draft board, or as the second to last pick on the draft board, where the 1 slot has already taken tight end or is like positionally unallowed to take. Is that a word? Like not allowed to take tight end. I will take Darren Waller every single time because I'm just going to buy that ceiling. I'm going to buy that ceiling and then I'm just going to have the swap equity to those players. Now, for whatever reason, if the first 2 tight ends off the board are Higbee and Foster Moreau, I will not take Waller. I will take either Taysom Hill or scroll the F down. I've been mixing in a lot of Cameron Brate. There's merit to Adam Troutman just being a 1-for-1 replacement for Juwan Johnson tonight. Yep. There's big time merit in that. I don't really see the merit in we saw Cole get a touchdown last week. I don't think there's merit in there. I don't think there's necessarily merit in Cade over Brate, but I don't think it's terrible to mix in Cade as like a secondary stack option with Brady. But yeah, just sharing thoughts on there. What do you see there at tight end, Numi? You see anything different?
No, I mean Taysom being the number 1 tight end is fun. I mean, he's the archetype of boomer bust. Like, what,
right?
He's either gonna break the slate or he's gonna get a middling score, most likely. That probably won't matter. So that's really interesting. But yeah, I 100% feel with you. Like, if you're sitting there and someone takes Taysom and they've taken one of Foster Moreau Higbee, just take Waller and then you'll get the swap. And then by doing that, you're also kind of mixing your exposures. If sometimes it's Moreau, sometimes it's Higbee, so you don't really know. You're just going to get that swap. I like that a lot. I mean, we preach on it over and over again. The value in the Q tags and taking them with with the swap eligibility and yeah, it matters when it's the last round versus if he's going early and people are expecting him. So yeah, I liked it a lot. Just hearing what you said and looking at it right now.
Let's jump in. Let's jump in and then we'll do a little hoops. I think it's a fun hoops slate. No.
Yeah, it is really fun. And I put in the thing, but I will be starting tonight. And basically, whenever there's a large enough hoop slate, I'm gonna be doing like a live before lock tile. And if whether you want to join, Nez wants to join, anyone wants to join, just me talking, drafting.
Amazing.
I will be doing that regardless of if you guys are available or I know you not to just harp on your guys' schedules and make you like do 2 shows a day, but I'm here, I'm drafting them. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. So just a little heads up, there will be a night stream tonight at some point.
Beautiful.
Or an afternoonish stream, and we'll expect those to be going forward as well. But yeah, it's a very fun hoop slate with a lot of moving parts. We're waiting on a lot of news. My phone is on silent, so you guys don't hear. So news could already be happening, and I don't know. So Kenneth Walker, this is a big one. Strain in his foot. Said it's an unusual injury. Could play in week 14. That's very big. It's very big for me and Ned. Ooh, geez, 86 million for Justin Verlander. Whew. It's a lot. 2 years, 86 mil.
That seems fine. I don't know. Do you have a preference here? Do you like Devontae Adams or do you like Josh Jacobs?
Ooh. I mean, just take one of them.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
I'll give you my thoughts in terms of the context. I'll give you my thoughts in terms of context of the way the slate's been shaking out for me. I have been taking Adams over him, and it has nothing to do with the player archetypes. It has way more to do with how positions shake out later. I think wide receiver falls off a cliff in these drafts comparatively.
I think Devontae's in a tier of his own, to be honest with you, for wideouts.
Yeah, that's fair too.
You can make the case for Godwin and Evans, but with the way the Bucks have been, I think Devontae's in a tier of his own.
This is kind of a fun start here. Big decision point here. I like stacking with Carr. I think it's not as common as you would think.
Okay.
So I'm going to go there. And then I do think now you do have a decision point between Kamara and Evans. And for whatever reason, I've been leaning towards Evans. Yeah.
Look at who's available after Mike Evans, and then look at the running backs that you can take. Yeah.
Exactly. And we still do have like the Cam Akers floating down below. You still have if you got really pinched, a one-off Mark Ingram to just fall into the end zone. Amir Abdullah is one of the funniest plays I've ever seen in my whole life. He Amir Abdullah hasn't had a carry until last week. Like just crazy. Like he's a running back and he hadn't had a carry.
Aren't we scared of the Josh Jacobs Hall of Fame game?
I like Taysom here.
Yeah.
I like Taysom run back off of Mike Evans. Taysom has that profile that could break the slate, obviously, any given
What do you do
any
here,
given
then?
slate.
Do you take the running back or do you take another wideout?
No, we don't take the running back because they've maxed out.
They already take him. All right, sorry, I wasn't looking at their teams. That makes sense. So it's a wideout.
So it's a wideout here, and I think this is where you can kind of just do whatever the fuck you want, and this is where you get different here. And I think we're just going to click Julio's name unless you have something better to tell me this time.
Jarvis is fun, but I mean, maybe not fun. Maybe fun's not the right word.
Fun's not the operative word.
Jarvis is available, and I think obviously, yeah, with Taysom, but I don't know. I Julio scares me with that full offense humming. It's like, how much will Julio get? And now you can probably click on Julio and show me that he's been getting quite a bit. And so I just haven't followed the Bucks, and I just think they're just
friends and family draft here. I am going to share these. Hold on.
That's probably a bad pick. Just with 10 seconds, doing the classic, 10 seconds, let's click a rant or say a random name. So in hindsight, probably wasn't the pick.
And then I'm going to take Akers here. Okay, I want to talk about this draft board for a second because I do think there, just in terms of like game flow, there are edges, even with good players. Here we have a draft with two players who are both noted. Yeah, thank you for talking John into Landry. Yes, I agree, Paul.
Hey, I actually didn't talk him into it. Dumbass just said it, and he was like, "Well, okay, fine, Jimmy said it." And then he unwillingly, slowly clicked the star and slowly did the thing. He was like, "Oh, maybe I'll get the slowest hands in the West, and it won't work this time." But it worked.
Okay, so noted two quality players. I was inverted, winning everything. Terrence always hanging out in the chat and drafting alongside us. Good player in his own right. I just want to bring up, so interesting way to flip the build here, how he basically just took Olave in the 5th and then just said, this is an Andy Dalton team, which is cool. I really like this build. I really like the idea of Olave plus Kamara plus Dalton. I think that's really sharp. The one note that I will bring up is right here, T-Bear, you don't take Dalton. You take your choice of tight end. It might not have mattered. You might still have wanted Foster Moreau right there, but you just don't take the quarterback there because I Was Inverted has already taken the quarterback and has not taken the tight end yet. So you get your free selection of tight end there, and then you bring it back and you get your quarterback there. But just to note of this draft board, basically no outlying pieces drafted. These are the chalk pieces that are going to be drafted in almost every draft, give or take Troutman, give or take Jarvis Landry, give or take potentially Julio. So some interesting ways to get different. Just looking at this board, a John Wolford team. Is John Wolford's ceiling in a one-game sample that much lower than Andy Dalton? What if Taysom's the guy who runs one in from the goal line and throws one in on a creative play? Then all of a sudden, Andy Dalton's ceiling is 5 points. And John Wolford is the guy you need in that combination. Just something to think about. Everyone's taking Dalton, so there is some merit in zigging when everybody zags. Tight end, as Chip's noting in the chat right now, is gross. It's very gross, and that's why I think it is the big one-off talking point of this slate. Outside of that, not much more to say with this. I do like flipping the build. Like I Was Inverted did, where he does take Jacobs and Brady, because most people's eyes are going to go Jacobs, and then they're either going to go for a receiver and pray that Derek Carr falls back, or they're going to take Derek Carr right there and put the two Raiders players together. So I think it's pretty sharp to flip the build like this, and then your correlation with Tom Brady goes to, Julio back here or Rachaad White right here. We saw Rachaad White with 6 catches last week, something like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
He looks good as a runner too. So just watching him run.
Terrence said he wanted to back into the tight end. He didn't want to make the decision because it's a hold your nose pick. I respect it. That's funny. I like that.
He's like, I don't care who I come. I just wanted to click autopilot, and that's the guy I get. Yeah.
Exactly.
I
right.
love it.
And I think when everybody feels that way about tight end on a slate like this, I do think that introduces
double tight end
leverage, right? Yeah, there you go. It does introduce a point of leverage right there, right? There you go. Blake's bringing up 9 catches last week. I was way off. Samson. Oh. Yeah, so this Justin Verlander, 86 million, 2 years. I mean, he made 30 this year. That's within
No,
reason,
no, it wasn't like a whoa or anything like, but oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, Ravens signed Brett Hundley. It makes sense, but they actually signed him after Lamar Jackson's injury. Kenneth Walker Foot. Yeah, that Verlander thing is interesting, man. I mean, yeah, I think obviously the biggest domino is Judge. So we're still just waiting on.
For sure.
Judge.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously that's wow, shocker. Guy says Aaron Judge is the biggest domino in free agency. But yeah, no, I mean, I just for the fact that I hate the Yankees. I hope that he doesn't go back to the Yankees.
Okay, for the sake of the stream, let's flip the build a little bit, and we'll take Jacobs this time.
Yeah, flip the build. Brady 101.
Yeah, right. We get the 101 two times in a row, so we'll take Jacobs this time and see how it shakes out differently. We got Blake in this draft with us. You know what, Chip? I kind of agree with this. I do kind of think Trey Turner's the best free agent available.
The only thing about Trey is how old is he? And for a shortstop with your best thing is speed, like
it's a good point. That skill set does not age particularly well.
He's going to be 30. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year and maybe not next. But the contract that he is forecasted to get, maybe he stays really fast. I mean, it's not like he's going to drop, but we know people get slower. And when you hit that, you just drop. So, but I mean, he is the fastest player or one of the fastest, I guess. Byron Buxton. Hello.
Okay, so both the Bucks wide receivers go in front of us, and we're left with the Tom Brady decision. Let's flip the build. Let's go with this is gonna be interesting. Let's go Olave. I think there's a clear tier break there, and then we can make the Kamara play and pair it. But I don't really want to box myself out of running back because a lot of these guys are setting up for what I think
want to do Tom
running back builds. I do want to do Tom with Olave and with Jacobs. I do think this is kind of like what I was inverted did last draft, but a better version just by having Tom fall to 6 and having Jacobs at the 1 instead of going Tom Jacobs at the 3-4. I think this is the same thesis of the play. I think it might just turn out better. So kind of fun.
Who do you Chip? Who do you want? Do you want? Well, yeah, I'm not talking about. Okay, but the thing about Aaron Judge is he hits home runs. So like you know what I mean? Like you can still hit home runs at an older age. His speed isn't one of his biggest tools.
Trey hit almost 30 this year, didn't he?
Yeah, Trey's great. Like I was just the only neg is his one of his most prominent skill sets is his speed. And it most likely will decline. That's a very small nitpicky thing. It's still Trey Turner. Who'd you rather have, Trey Turner or Mr. Jor himself in Carlos Correa? So,
yeah,
he's not coming back to the Twins. So,
I think that's a really good question. I was really hoping that Leonard Fournette would fall there to us. Yeah. Kind of unfortunate there. I think we go with Julio here. Get a little stack equity. And then I think I lean Cam Akers and just buy some volume.
Yeah, there's a stack option too, and if we wanted to double stack Brady with that tight end.
That's kind of my mindset is that we're going to have the decision between Darren Waller plus the leftover tight end, and we're going to have the decision between Cameron Brate just sitting there for us. So I kind of like Brate tonight. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I like that. So Trey's been meeting with the Padres. That's interesting.
Oh, wow. I wonder what that means for
Trey and Juan reunited. Tatis to center
wow.
field.
Yeah, Tatis to no, not to center field, to like corner infield, right? He'd move to corner
I thought
infield,
they were
right?
talking about him going outfield.
Really?
Dude, Paul, come on. Like our owners don't even have them. Like their net worth probably isn't as much as Judge is going to get paid.
Interesting note here that Kate Otten has
though.
outsnapped Cameron Brate, but the opportunities will favor Brate just as like the receiving style role.
Yeah. Sorry, I Nez just tweeted a hilarious. Guess what game was just flexed to Sunday night, week 15? I know you don't know who's
hold
playing.
on, we got a decision here. We got left with everybody. So
I think most. So here, you do you, and I don't want to get into it. You do you.
I think I'm just gonna take Taysom because nobody on the slate has a ceiling like Taysom.
Exactly.
And the thing about having Taysom in these builds is a lot of people I think will pair Taysom with they'll pair Taysom with Andy Dalton, or they'll pair Taysom with Kamara. Those are the builds you do not want Taysom in. You want Taysom on his own. You want Taysom as a run back with the other builds. Taysom is not a stack partner in my opinion. He's not a traditional tight end, right? Let's do one more of these and then do some hoops here.
Week. Wait, what? Did we just get flexed out?
What are you talking about here?
The Vikings, I think it was either I don't know who was that Sunday night game, but the Vikings just got flexed to 1 p.m. I guess that's good for Kirk because we play the Colts, but December 17th on NFL Network, Saturday, December. So it's a Saturday game. Okay, I'm totally lost what the NFL is doing. Newmy, when are you planning? Half filled. Holy mother. Actually, holy. We'll play that by ear, I suppose. I have to have John teach me how how he quickly does his awesome thumbnails, so I can just whip them up. So he doesn't have to be my thumbnail bitch. But yeah, I'll figure out that. Yeah. So okay, Blake. I'm just trying to figure. I don't know who played at the original times. All I know is we got flexed to 1. So were we at the prime time or 3? It doesn't really matter. But there's a Saturday slate for that
for week 15. So that must be like Christmas Eve ish. Okay, let's take Jacobs here, and then let Paul make the decision on the end. Friends and family draft here with Stevie and Paul.
So we got flex from Sunday to Saturday, because it's
all right, let's do this.
Because we have this we play Sunday. It says, and at least ESPN, I guess that's maybe not right schedule. Doesn't really matter.
I think this is all Saturday. They were playing on Saturday always. They just flipped the night and the daytime game. That's how I read it.
Well, no, because
shit.
they haven't. They just weren't scheduled yet.
These guys picked really fast. I don't think I wanted Kamara there. Fuck.
Sorry.
That's what I get for reading the chat.
And you have me
caring about things that don't matter.
Well, I'm just saying these games weren't actually scheduled for any day, and then they just put them on Saturday.
They held them back to plan.
It literally says games not yet scheduled: Dolphins, Bills, Ravens, Browns, Colts, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, and Giants and Commanders. And they put Giants and Commanders on Sunday Night Football. What? That's interesting. I'm gonna look up more into that because that's a weird to be flexed to different days.
Interesting little decision here. So Baby Stevie opted for the 3 wide receiver build on the end. I have a couple of those that I really like. I think it is my favorite start, especially I have quite a few of them now. I think it is my favorite start
You
comparative
guys.
to everything else. But I panicked and fucked up and took Kamara because
You're
I was
fine.
reading and
Is that not going to
whatever.
be unique?
No, not at all.
Well, then let's make it unique.
Well, I think I did sort of with the Julio pick there. And then now Stevie's boxed out of wide receiver, and I take Mac Hollins here and then kind of get this backdoor car double, get the mini stack from that game, and then I can get one off tight end after. I think it turns out okay. I think it just turns out a lot better if I was paying attention and took the wide receiver in the second round instead of the Alvin Kamara pick, but it definitely has legs to win. But this is a very smart build that Stevie's building out right now, in my opinion. I think it's
This Nez guy.
I think it's my favorite.
Whoever Nez is, he's about to get a timeout. I'm just letting you know. So,
okay, let's see here. Take Mac Hollins there, and then Landry Hill go. And now this is an interesting spot because I don't really want to overstack Vegas.
Triple stack Raiders.
Yeah, it becomes a good decision point. So I think I do lean
Higbee?
just going with the Higbee run back
Oh,
option there and going with the one off. I think Higbee had a bad run last week, just in general. Like he looked really open a lot and just didn't get there. But the 5 targets are encouraging, and I think Wolfert with him is much better than Bryce was before, just in terms of getting targets.
Yeah.
Kind of a fun draft there. Salvaged it after the timeout Kamara pick there because Numi's rambling about
the James Harden revenge. Dude, you know what? I am rambling about plenty. And these games were not, I just have never seen this before, where games are not scheduled for a date. And then just like, you know what? Now we're going to pick and pluck. So
I think it's pretty smart by the league to do that. And they do it 2 weeks out.
Yeah,
they handpick the games they want for the Saturday.
Yeah, because if I go to here, week 16, is there a bunch of games that aren't scheduled yet? No, just that week. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because it's Christmas Eve, but I don't actually know the
17th.
dates.
It's
it's on the 17th?
Yeah, I'm talking week 15, December 7th, Saturday, December 17th. Yeah.
All right. Who cares?
So, just a random Saturday.
It'll just be a fun slate. The hoop stuff. What are we liking? What are we seeing? Who are the big question marks? Who are the big?
There's a lot of
whatever.
So the macro is we got 4 teams on a back-to-back. So, or when we have teams on a back-to-back, we don't know. We don't have an injury report. That's Boston, Memphis, Indiana, and Phoenix.
Boston, Memphis, Indiana, Phoenix, back-to-backs.
Right off the bat, that matters for Al Horford, who people are expecting not to play because he doesn't play back-to-backs.
Okay.
Memphis is one of the big talking points in our Discord. Roto Grinders has basically they're speculating that Jaren Jackson is going to sit. He does not. We don't have injury reports for these people yet, like official ones. So they have him questionable for rest because of coming back, playing back-to-backs as well. That's something to matter. Basically, he has a 22 ADP, but has been falling.
Oh, wow. That's 6th. Much higher than I would have thought.
He's been falling to the 6th, though, in some drafts. So that's worth it to get the swap. Other than that, Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's been finally ruled out on the Underdog site. He was questionable on their site, but he was ruled out yesterday for 2 games. So, he's now.
So he's got the out tag now.
Yep.
So
and then Phoenix is we're basically the Chris Paul thing. Will he play? Will he not play? And then that just matters for Devin Booker or whatnot. And like how much to bump him up, whatnot. Obviously, like right now, my sheet, other projections have him like 10th overall. CP3 out, move him up a little bit. So, other than that, on the back-to-backs, we have the Clippers who have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both questionable.
Classic Clippers.
That's fun. James Harden.
Do you have a lean? Do you have a lean either way on the George?
I think they both play.
Okay.
I do think they both play. Or we get. Let me check their schedule here. Monday.
Okay, so
I'm just trying to get to see who they play. If they play again, Los Angeles Clippers, do they play? So they don't have a back-to-back tomorrow. So we could see both of them play. Like that's one thing to note.
Okay. That's a good nugget just in general there. Then when deciding about teams that are, in that situation, that noting if they have a back-to-back versus a quality opponent the following day, blah, blah, blah.
I know everyone keeps talking about Embiid. It's James Harden revenge game against Houston people. Like, come on, James Harden's
There you go.
Harden's going to shoot the ball probably like 40 times. I don't
I like
actually know,
that.
but just thinking, James Harden.
Is Pacers Warriors the fastest game in the history of basketball?
It is indeed very fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just I'll get that up here.
That's got blowout risk written all over it with Hallie out though, right? Yeah, I agree with this. It feels like Steph smash spot, but there is big blowout risk there.
It's
No,
literally sorry, excuse me. They're 1 and 2 in pace. So yes.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
See, I'm fucking hoops guy. I just look at the board. I know who's 1 and 2 in pace.
Yeah.
I figure it out.
Blowouts. I mean, yes, you can conceive them. It's really tough to just predict it. I don't put it into my process. Yes, it's there. I'm still going to take the people because if they do blow them out, it's likely that they were the cause of them blowing them out.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
like, if they're up by 30 points, it's likely that one of the guys, if Steph had a night.
Yeah,
so.
Steph could have 60 fantasy points by the third quarter and then not play, and he's the guy you still need.
It's not that I'm not like worried. It's just for Harden. It's like until I hear that he's on a minutes limit, it's like, why wait this long and then have him play a little bit? Like Dame came back and played like 30 something minutes and he sat out for a while. Like if you're sitting out for a while and you're waiting to come back and it's been like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if like that's the minutes limit with Harden or something. It's like, I'm projecting he doesn't really have one and he still gets his enough minutes to matter. That's not to say Embiid isn't. I love Embiid, and I think it's viable. I think something fun is to have them both on the same team. Watch them blow them out. So,
yeah, there's an interesting stance to be had on Harden given his ADP. Like, if you just thrust him over this, like nobody on any given night with no minutes restriction, forget it's Houston, forget whatever. On any given night, if you just dragged James Harden up to this Booker Trey tier, nobody would ever question you. So if you do want to flip the build from the corner slots, pulling Harden looks like, just from a game theory standpoint, looks like a smart way to do it. Now, I don't know if it's directly necessary, but it just looks, it jumps out when I'm just scrolling the board right now.
Yeah, and actually, so you want the biggest question mark of the slate, IMO, Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
Trae
Okay,
Young.
why's that?
He skipped shoot around on Friday, then just didn't go to the game, just didn't attend the game because he got in a screaming match with head coach Nate McMillan.
Okay.
And now is just going to come back and play against OKC. Like, I don't know what to
play 36
I don't know what to project here. Like, it's easiest to go with it's just Trae, but it's just like, or he just comes out and balls. Like, I don't know. Like, you could get so many different things. You could get just Trae coming out and Bop. Of course, Hoppers Rise. We love that. Nice to see you, Bop. That's just really interesting to me is the Trae, because like that whole scenario is just really weird. Like, really, I mean, if you look up that Trae Young, it's just really weird. And like,
what have you been doing about it, Numi?
I've taken him and I've done 4 drafts. I have him in 1. It's just, I'm just going to have some exposure to him. He's going to be someone I'm going to be kind of wary of. I'm not just going to fade him. It's just to know that legitimately this is a very interesting spot, because Trae Young is a petty individual. So it's very common to, like, as NBA players are very petty individuals when it comes to
this. Don't paint them all with the same brush.
Okay, but this sport is where revenge narratives and just takeover narratives is most applicable, because you have the ball in your hand and you can legitimately be like, you guys aren't getting it. There's 4 other people on the court. And when it's Trae Young, it's just it's really interesting. So like, that's just something that it's in the back of my head to note, but I'm still taking them. It's just to note what happened with them.
My mind, when you started explaining the situation, went similarly to where Terrence's mind went here. in just terms of dysfunction is good opportunity for the other team. And I looked at the thrusting up Shea, that sort of thing. The problem with that idea, I think, now that I'm thinking through it, is Trey is so fucking bad on defense that you, as a Shea player or as someone who wants to get overweight to Shea, you actually want Trey on the court, right?
Yeah. And you want that. Yeah, you want that back. Yeah, it's really interesting. That whole scenario. OKC blowing someone out. I'll always be hesitant about that, especially playing the Hawks. So I'm just trying to go check here. Atlanta. Yeah, so this is the interesting thing is John Collin out, DeAndre Hunter out. What do we get? Trae Young, 49% usage. 40% usage. That's why it's one of the most interesting spots on the slate is like, you look at that and it's like, I want all of it. But then it's like, I don't know. So, but yeah, so that's just throwing out what previously happened on Friday. I'm going to attack Trae. I'm still going to have a good amount of them. Yeah. So just that's the overall thing for Trae.
One thing that I posted in the chat, I'm looking at the screen right now. Someone posted something about Poole and Wiggins and this sort of thing, and kind of playing the depth benchier side, or like the guys that'll still get run in a blowout environment from the Warriors game. I think that's pretty sharp, as long as Jordan Poole has his 5th round, 6th round ADP opposed to his 3rd round ADP, which occasionally happens.
Yeah, I mean, Clay's fun for that. Poole, one opinion, because I think Clay has like a 33.7 ADP. So,
okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so maybe I misread that the Wiggins and Poole both have Q tags as well. So, one thing I've been noticing, and I don't have any data to back it up yet, but I've been noticing when a quality Q tag on one side of the game, it gets ruled out, that the other ones tend to follow on the other side of the game. So like Halliburton being ruled out, to me, just screams the fact that, hey, if these guys have legit Qs, at least one of them's going to sit.
Yeah, I mean, with an abductor and an ankle, they're legit Qs, I feel like. So yeah, I mean, it's all the night, you know what I mean? Like, and just to say, like, the sheet that I have, projections aren't going to tell these narratives because they have people projected in. You won't get all of these plays popping until people are ruled out and projections account for that. So like, that's when I keep preaching my famous, we're just trying to predict the dominoes that fall. And then within that, which way they fall, that's how we're drafting our teams. I still think that's a very key thing, is like, so like right now you can just go with this. So I project James Harden to play. So that means a lot of the Phillies aren't really going to be anything.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, like you're talking about Shake, you're talking about that kind of tier, like kind of off your board now.
Like I project Paul George and Kawhi to play. At the moment, that means other Clippers aren't as interesting. If they don't play, they
like
all of a sudden
Vooch not Vooch. What the fuck's his name? Zubac,
who's been losing minutes recently. Zubac's really interesting. Like, he's been losing minutes. He's been interesting. Now you have these two guys back. That's someone I'm kind of on just a personal fade with. But yeah, I mean, you get like, so you just make these plays. Like I like Chris Middleton. That's an interesting one. How many minutes is Chris Middleton going to get? You can go around and see what projections have around the industry, but like, you put him in for 30.
Second game back or third game back? Second,
and he had a little break. So it's like, and good, they play Orlando. So it's like, it's really interesting. A lot of these.
Okay.
Yeah,
that'll play
100%. Like, so then if you do the same thing I'm saying, if you project Wiggins and Poole out, then that you bump up Draymond, you bump up Steph, you bump up Clay. Yes, you can bump up the other guys on there. It's with this slate and with other value, it's interesting because you still have Steph, Clay, and Draymond. It's not like you're getting no one on there, so then you can go get all of these other guys like Kuminga on the Warriors. But yeah, so I mean, it's just an exercise you guys can do. Just project who you think where the dominoes are going to fall, draft according to that. When you get news, adjust, draft according to that. I think that's
a classic, just telling yourself the story while you're drafting, right? Like, You know, if we knew Scotty Barnes and OG were out, Siakam gets pushed up. Like, it's just like telling yourself these stories before ADP tells the stories makes a lot of sense. You know, like we were thrusting up Josh Giddey the other day as soon as we got the Shea news, right? Like the ADP takes so long to react. Yeah, Blake, I got some more in the holster too, dude. I haven't even told you about the time Russell Westbrook and I played heads up at the Commerce Casino there. We played a little poker all night one time. He used to always stop by. Every time OKC came to LA, he was a big poker guy. All right, what do we got here? He's my 203. He's my 103. He's my 203. This is why these games are so fun. This is so good. Giannis, Luka, Steph, Embiid. That's cool. Numi, how are you ranking the top 6 right now?
If I were to rank them, let's see. It would be Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Shea, Ja, Steph.
Interesting. So that Tatum's been so hot recently, or he was, and then had the one clunker and then came back kind of deal.
I'm always on the Jaylen Brown side, man. Like I'll always have, because of the price, I'll always have more Jaylen Brown because I feel like his ceiling maybe isn't up there with Tatum. That's definitely a good. Right. I'll take that. But it's just I just feel like they're so similar-ish that it's just like I'll take I'll take the price drop on Jaylen. I don't know why that's so funny to me. I just watch you type in beef, nothing shows up, and then you continue to type in stew. Oh man, that killed me. Ooh, that killed me. I'm sorry. Woo.
All right, let's jump in here. Hoppers rise, baby. Let's go.
Hoppers rise. Yeah. So again, yeah. But you know, it might be an afternoon before lock. Regardless. I mean, I was thinking of doing something a little closer to around like the 4:30, maybe 4:30 being on, and then hoping that the BR would kind of drop into when I'm doing that stream, and I could get a couple of those in there. It'll have to be complete luck, I feel like. But
this might.
Yeah, oh my gosh!
Fill before that,
and here comes to take down his first hoot slate of the year, Paul.
Yeah,
I was inverted.
There you go. Yeah, friends and family draft right here. Hey, D Snacks, if you're in the chat, give us a shout, dude. Yeah.
Scotty. Yeah. He goes in the 4th. Yeah. He goes in the 4th. Rodman goes in the 6th.
I only stack them with Mike though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the correlation you need.
Yeah, the correlation you need.
Oh man.
All right. Luka goes 1. We're Giannis here at 2.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's yeah. I like Giannis.
Yeah.
Like you can, yeah. I'm debating.
And he rested the other day. He can be extra ready.
Yep. It's the only thing about Giannis, but then you could say the same thing about Embiid, is he has now Middleton back, so that's
good one.
Usage down a little bit. I haven't quite looked at it. I do this stuff after because I'm prepping for show and getting the sheet ready. You have that back, but then you also have Harden back, which kind of does the same thing for Embiid. So it's just like, but again, it really doesn't matter. These are stars. They don't impact. It's just small little impacts. You know what I mean? So a lot of the impacts matter more so for salary, because like a $1,000 difference is huge in those. You know what I mean? You're just trying to. So you're trying to find literally the most value when you're playing salary. Here, it's just I'm still trying to figure out what's the most optimal.
Okay, I like the thrusting up James Harden and buying no minutes restriction, and he just blows the doors off of Houston. And I also like DeJounte narrative that Trey doesn't come back and play full minutes, and DeJounte is the guy you need. Which do you prefer?
Let's do DeJounte.
Okay. I think both narratives are definitely in play tonight. Harden goes there. Paul George gets thrust up.
Jalen.
Yeah. Tier break for you?
I mean, it's so. I mean,
Holy shit, Jalen has back-to-back ceiling games too. Wow, it's crazy how
he's been
like
hot.
they. Well, if we bring up just for
He's
the
been
sake of the
so good.
stream, like why can't I click on his name? Damn it! You can only do it on the phone.
Yep.
After it's been drafted. But if you just click on like how their ceiling games work, they kind of just been flip-flopping ceiling games for the last week or so.
Yeah.
And both of their ceiling games have been like 70 burgers, right? Like high 60s.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, just always have one.
Oh, yeah, good comp. Yeah.
Just always have one of them.
Yeah, that's a really good comp. Is anybody still out there? Is Marcus Smart back fully now? I know he was back for 2 games there. There's nobody else that could, thrust their usage.
I'm sorry, say that again one more time. I think you just heard a little like cut out.
Marcus Smart, Derek White, basically everyone's back for them, right?
Yeah, the questionable. So, I just heard the do. So my headphones are about to die.
Chris Paul tonight? No.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like, will he play? Will he not? I think he's definitely worth it in the 6th round. I don't know if he can have a minute. See, it's like these dudes that are out so long that have been like, oh, he could play. He could play. It's like, why would you wait for them to play? Oh, like wait, and then all of a sudden have them come back on a minute? It's like I just feel like if they're going to come back, they're going to play full.
Yeah, so they've basically been flipping ceiling games. Actually, you know what? This game was pretty nice for Tatum. It's just these 9 turnovers. Like these 9 and these 5 turnovers really killed those lines.
Yeah, no
those are some
stocks
nice lines
against Boston.
Yeah, no stocks. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so we got the Jaren Jackson decision. You say you think he is out. Who do you like to thrust?
Well, now they have him now they gave him a projection, which is interesting, but I don't think we take
want
him.
him. 3 seconds.
Kevin Porter.
Okay. Right. Yeah, Kevin Porter's got that dog in him when he sees Harden. He's like, yo, I'm gonna take this guy down.
I mean, Kevin Porter's a guy that's just gonna shoot and not care what's going on. So
fair enough. Okay.
Scotty Barnes is interesting. Click Fred VanVleet. How bad has he been?
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. Let's do Scotty.
Not great. Sure. My problem with the Raptors, apart from the 3-game slate, yeah, right. It's just like
pick one.
You throw a fucking dart every night between OG Barnes.
You need someone to be hurt, and then that adds thrust them more up to be valuable. Otherwise, it's just they're just a solid team, man. They're kind of like the Cavs, in which they have so many options now. Like, I mean, you have Mobley, Allen. I mean, obviously you have your stars and D-Mitch and that, but then you have your stars and Siakam and Fred VanVleet he's not doing, but then you still have OG and Scotty Barnes. It's like you just have a lot of options that can take that ball and run with it.
Yeah. This is the CP3 narrative right there. Like banging Kim K. Like I don't know how I feel about that for his character. I'm not sure if we can take a guy after that. I give him mad props, big respect for the move, but a wifed up man.
Are we sure he wasn't mistaken for Jake from State Farm?
Yeah, there you go. Nice one.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
Yeah, no Maxey for the Sixers. That's actually a good point there. I was throwing out other names, but Maxey still very important for usage.
I'm just talking
Tobias
about
Harris is just sitting here. Jalen Green. We could take the Kawhi swing with the last pick. We could take the Wiggins. We just saw a ceiling game from Wiggins. Buddy Hield was getting talked up in the chat. Great game environment. Who do you like?
You pick it.
Let's take Buddy. I liked the narrative I was hearing in the chat. It's a high total, big pace up spot.
I don't recency bias.
Yeah, I don't think Buddy Hield's blowout. I think he's kind of like more blowout proof than some of the other guys too. Like I think he'll still get a little run in garbage time for a bit there. I don't think he'd be like first guy off the court. I think they bring like Turner off. They bring like that, right? No?
Yeah. I'm trying to look at that. Well, Hield's just like a super boomer bust, and he's gonna shoot. He's gonna shoot his shot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no for Chad on Harris.
I mean, yeah, for Terrence, totally viable. They are 11th in defensive rating, but also in just strictly like offensive adjusted rating, Boston is number 1 in the NBA. Literally, the next closest people are 5-point difference. So Boston is on another level. I mean, yeah, they do have good defense, and they have guys that will get steals. So that is a good call. But it's like I don't project turnovers.
Fair enough.
I mean, they're already accounted for in the projections. I don't add anything.
Yeah, you don't double count them. You don't double count them.
100%.
They're baked into the projections. Yeah, that makes sense.
Boston's just, I mean, best team in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, I think that they are. They are. The stats and everything will tell you that. So record will tell you that.
Yeah. Double-edged sword here, right? Because like Hallie's so good at finding him open. Like Hallie's just such a good passer, right?
Yeah, and I mean, why not Mathurin?
Yeah, actually, we did see that. We did see that a couple shows ago, where I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get on that Buddy Hield in the last round," and it was Mathurin was the guy you needed. It was a shorter slate, 4 or 5 game slate.
I'm gonna pull up actually. All right, this finally loaded. All right, so remember that LeBron thing I was telling you about? So it measures people, all that stuff. Don't have to tell you, but it
LeBron
brings,
metric, yeah,
the LeBron metric, which is LeBron is like basically it's luck adjusted player estimate over using box prior regularized on and off. Just a really fancy thing. It takes everything throughout the whole. Who do you think has the highest LeBron in like the history of the NBA throughout any season?
Wilt.
It's Giannis.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy shit.
And it's and then next is LeBron, and then literally the next person is Giannis, like a full point away. It's crazy. So
I think we hope this guy takes Tatum and we get this Ja Curry start.
Yes, that sounds.
I think this looks like a lot of fun. This just screams 110 points right there to me.
Yeah, I love Ja so much.
I think the more I look at this draft board and the way ADPs are, I think my dream start from like the 5-8 or the 6-7 is Shea falling plus Steph. I do think Steph's ADP is too low.
I like that. Is it Daniel Tice that's out? Okay, cool. And run query.
Paulo. Okay, what's Joker saying here?
It's Mathurin. It's all Mathurin. Holy crap. No, nobody healed. Whoo! In 246 minutes, he has a 32.8% usage. That is a 6.7 bump, whereas Buddy Hield actually lowers his usage without Halliburton on.
That was see, dude, look at a fucking hoops guy over here. That was my thesis. He's so good at getting him the ball in space. Hield's a spot up shooter. Come on. I'm a hoops guy now.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Nailed that one.
Blown up.
Okay, what's Joka telling us here? Main ball handler with those assist numbers. Not sure if he has 50-point ceiling or not.
I like that call. Yeah, he's been balling. If you just check his recent games.
Yep.
But I mean, it's small sample. We're just going off this season and like you take it for what it's worth, but we have, Nemhard gets a 1.3% usage bump, which is nice. But yeah, it seems to be Mathurin, Miles Turner, Isaiah Jackson get the biggest usage bumps.
Isaiah Jackson, eh?
Yeah. Nemhard actually gets a nice fantasy point. He gets a higher fantasy point per minute bump than Mathurin, but it's not by much. So.
I'm thinking of a name right here, and I think this is an absolute slam dunk. George in the third,
is that true? CP3 out. CP3 out. Fun. What are you saying? Yeah, I like George here. Love that.
So does that mean we like Ayton a little bit or no?
Yeah, man, just take Ayton. I mean, you'll see these spots. It's just like that's when you'll need them, and you missed up on ADP. It's like these sharp people, these guys that just keep winning over Crass Rich, Just Brett, Sam Olsen. Shout out Sam. I just want to say that guy won again. If anyone was going to beat me last
He
night,
won again in NBA.
He won, and he was first and like third.
Yeah, he was a
Just
sicko
past
in
me.
the baseball streets.
Dude,
He's
he's
really
so good. So good. So
I've
shout
asked
out
him to
Sam.
come on the show today, or not today, before, and he said he doesn't do content. He likes to keep to himself a little bit more, I think. He's keeping his cards close to his vest. But
I like
good
that. But
player,
yeah,
nice guy.
Good player. And one guy I like to study lineups. I'll go through and I wish you could just type in someone's name, find out all their lineups. Eventually, maybe that comes,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I respect anything that he does. He's one of the players when he drafts and it's something I don't align with. I rethink my process.
Yeah, so Brett's saying the Ayton with the rocket ship here.
With that CP3 out, yep.
Yeah, you think? See, my mind with him was like CP3 was good for him, like because he's such a good passer. He gets him the ball down low, that sort of thing.
Let's figure it out.
Is that a bad take? Yeah.
Let's go do. So is CP3? Who else was out? Someone else was out. It was Dwayne Washington.
Is there merit? Is there merit in Clay tonight with all the Q tags behind? I think we mentioned it at one point, right? But.
Or Dwayne's out, Torrey Craig's out, and Cam Johnson's out. I'm sorry, say that again.
Well, let's do this pick here and think it through together. I was asking if there's merit in bumping Clay with the Q tags of Wiggins and
that's what I was saying. Clay's been a last round pick in my two of four that I've done. So
okay, yeah, I like that. I like the Draymond shout too.
Whoa. Okay. Well. It's
okay, we're on the
pick this here. And then I'll let you know what happens with the Suns.
Do we like Middleton? Is that
Capella's really it. Capella.
All right, Capella sounds good to me with Collins out, and who else was out in the front court?
Hunter,
yeah.
I mean, he's a wing.
That ceiling though.
He can.
Yeah.
He can.
And then well, and I like who did we just talk up from the Pacers?
We could do Mathurin or Nembhard.
Let's do Mathurin. I had to scroll further to find his name.
Yeah, and obviously his numbers are going to be deflated with Hallie playing, but take Hallie out. I mean, if there's a blowout, might as well have your young rookie just continue to play. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, and I think not taking Clay or Draymond with Steph. Like, what are your thoughts there? Like, should I be worried about that, or does it not matter? Just kind of, they can both have ceiling games.
I think they can both have it. So that's really interesting. If Wiggins and Poole are out, yeah, definitely both. I like them. I like that happening. The blowout risk is something I'll think of when I have two people. It's like, can they both get there if they have that blowout? It's in there. It's like all this, but yeah, I think it's fine to have both. The Suns, without Chris Paul, Torrey Craig, Cam Johnson, Dwayne Johnson this year. Devin Booker with a 33.6% usage. The next highest is DeAndre Ayton with a 23%.
Wow. So it's a Books night.
The biggest bump actually in usage is Josh Okogie.
That's small that matters.
Sample.
Noom, you got time for one more?
I can go one more. These AirPods might die, but we'll be here.
All right. I'm getting the hoops itch right now.
Yeah.
So what are our thoughts?
I'm going to be putting up a lot of volume tonight. A lot of volume is going to be going down towards hoops.
Just here to burn money and make jokes. That's my MO, man. That's my identity in life, Chip. You can't steal my brand like that.
He burns money. The jokes, they come and go. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so this I did notice this the other day when we were humming and hawing with the Halliburton status on Friday night, I guess it was Thursday or Friday night. There we were dealing with was he gonna, I guess it was Friday night, was he going to play or not, that TJ McCollum catches all the steam in the world as like a mandatory pay down cash
in
game
DFS,
chalk.
it makes sense because
Yeah.
like his salary and what you're getting, like it's a totally different game. Like when
Oh,
DFS,
for
like,
sure.
when that,
Yeah.
but that's why it's like when you listen to the live before lock, it's good to just hear how they're talking about players, and I like to hear how the experts how they're doing.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, I love it a lot. It's just fun to see how they're projecting players, how they're talking it through, what they think a player is going to play or not. Not that it matters. It's just, I mean, I'll listen to Ship My Money, Josh, Greg from Stochastic all day. Those guys are just, they kill it. Way smarter than me in this. So yeah, they're that's a great thing I'll listen to. Like in the morning, I'll listen to Josh's process show.
Yeah. Ooh, Rydar, friend of the show, pushing Shea all the way up there. He's on it. We get Giannis at 3. I don't think there's any merit for taking anyone over Giannis there.
No, I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's just so something I've been looking at is I think Chip's on it too. Like the winner just does not stray away from ADP. They don't.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I mean,
they get the
admittedly,
combinations of the people. You know what I mean? Like you have one person that doesn't get that. You have just one person that puts up. Like if I had Donovan Mitchell put up anything other than a floor game last night, I won. So it's just like you have that one person that just doesn't have that like down game, and or you have like the one person has a down game, you're immediately dead. Like you're not gonna hit there. Like someone else is gonna have all the pieces, all their 6 leg parlays to hit.
Yeah. You basically need a ceiling game from everybody, and you need 50 through 70 from everybody, and that's if someone at the top end doesn't break the slate within 80 to 100, because there's 8 players on planet Earth that can put up that, maybe a couple more on a given night. Maybe there's 12 players on planet Earth that can put up that 80 to 100.
And it moves like now AD is technically I would put AD in the Luka, Giannis, Jokic with the way he's been playing. Like it's just dude is on another level. Like I forget who it was, but someone
what do we
was
like
saying,
here, Numi? We got Trey staring us in the face again. So I think this is going to be the constant decision of the slate in the second round.
Trey, huh?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Let's take Trey in that usage and just say he comes out and says, F you, Nate McMillan. You know who I am. If anyone's going to move from this team, it's going to be the head coach, not me.
Cool.
That's like Trey right now. Even though Nate McMillan is a great coach. I think he's really good.
Yeah, right there. I was kind of thinking that I would take Harden first and then wait that the Trey narrative might fall, whereas like the Harden narrative won't fall. I don't know.
Yeah. There is blowout risk in every single game. Like every game has blowout risk, and I've already talked about Middleton being back. He's still Giannis Antetokounmpo. So
yeah.
I don't understand how far we're going to bump him down. Like he still puts up all those numbers with all of them on the court or not.
I kind of like taking Ayton here. Or do you like Bam more still?
Bam. I like Bam.
All right. That was less exciting than I was hoping for.
I mean,
I just want an excuse to bump somebody based on the news. Old John Boy's just looking for an excuse to get crazy out here.
I mean, you definitely can. I'm just more honed to just like, if these guys are going to fall, and it's especially a guy that's in my sheet at that, I'm just going to take them and get the combination.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So like, but no, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, I definitely think Ayton, I'm waiting for an update. So like, he'll definitely move up. Paul George is technically higher than Bam, but it's like, maybe he comes back, but obviously now we're battling all the NBA streets with Mr. I was inverted. So that's not happening. He's a smart player. Yeah. Oh, Terry and Paul.
He took Paul last time. He doesn't want double exposure.
Ayton, like that pick a lot. Interesting. A lot of people I feel like would go Terry and Paul and get that nice correlation that does not matter in NBA, but it's nice to have a guy pushing someone.
But it looks pretty.
Yeah.
When I screenshot my teams.
Yeah, it does not matter. Like just correlation does not matter whatsoever. Like again, like there's just no correlation between like in theory, a guy pushing a guy from the opposite team is going to help, but like it's not the be all end all, and it's just so non-existent in NBA.
All right, we're left with the Jaren Jackson decision again.
We could do Miles Turner. Yeah.
Miles Turner's where my mind went right there.
Yep.
I don't know. I really like high total pace up spot game environment like that. It's so hard for me to quit those late night hammer games that are going to be fast high totals, even if the spreads are wide.
You had me at late night hammer.
Yeah, right. Interesting thing that just popped up on my timeline here. I was looking through NBA news, but a Justin Verlander one popped up. Justin Verlander made 102 starts with the Astros.
Yep.
He was 61-19 with a 2.26 ERA and a 0.83 WHIP. He had 2 Cy Youngs and was runner-up. He had a 3 and then runner-up another time. He had an MVP. He had a no-hitter. He had 300 strikeout season. He had 3,000 Ks total, and he had 2 World Series titles. That's a fucking run. Like
he had 30,000 Ks.
Not with that. No, he just had his 3,000.
How the?
Yeah.
Where did I miss that?
Like, yeah. No, had his. Okay. Do we like Hero with Bam, or do we like going different here? What do you think about Paulo? No.
Maybe? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
5, 6. Wait, Hero. You like Hero? Just tell me you like Hero. Tell me who you like.
I mean, all of them back is interesting, but it's just like, I don't know. I like all of them there. Take a pick, mix up the ownership. I don't know. Like, they're all decent. They're all fine.
Have a take, dude.
Oh,
that's fine.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Starting SGA, Booker, Ayton, and Giddey is electric.
There you go.
It would be electric if it wasn't on a team that was drafted by Chip Skylark. No, I'm just kidding. Was this team... I entered in ranks of the ceiling. I adjusted it very quickly to how the ADP was kind of like literally 4 minutes before the contest was going to be filled. You're the one that said like, hey, if you want to get in there. And I drafted 6 lineups. I auto drafted 3 and I drafted 3 lineups. Like just literally it already locked and I was drafting them because I got in. So yeah, that was very late. Very late.
Campaign just sitting there all by himself. What did Campaign's usage bump look like without CP3?
Campaign's
looks like his minutes
bump
were down
is
last game.
A negative 0.9%.
Interesting.
But he is the 3rd highest usage player on the team.
So TJ McCollum does have the Q tag and didn't play Sunday. That's an interesting nugget there. I did not realize that when Joko was bringing it up in the chat that if we get that out tag,
and it's with illness too, so it's really interesting.
Then
Nemhard, Nemhard and Mathurin become both viable, to be honest with you. I mean, I think they already kind of both are. They definitely both of them become very viable if
how come the Charlotte guards are pushed up tonight? Like Terry had a good game on, I guess it was Friday night or something like that.
No LaMelo.
No, yeah, but there's been no LaMelo for a while, and like on an 8-game slate to see Kelly Oubre going.
I mean,
almost every draft is surprising.
He has a 43 ceiling, 19th in ceiling.
Okay.
So
I wonder why. So I wonder what about the spot makes it good against the Clippers.
It's not great against the Clippers, that's for sure.
You like Draymond or Clay or someone else or
Draymond? Draymond and Clay was either of them's fine, that's for sure. I'm gonna go look at Charlotte before we pop off here and just see. No, LaMelo, Gordon, Dennis Smith, Cody Martin, and Mark Williams. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Off.
We're gonna try to impress Big Brother Giannis. I don't like that. I don't mind that narrative.
Off.
Yeah, Terry's like pretty polarizing to me. Like he He's broken a couple slates this year as a 6th round pick who can put up 55, 60. But yeah.
So
Okay, so this is
basically,
interesting. Has so much Oubre. I wonder why. Like it just is a name for someone like me who doesn't play every single night. I see that name popping and I go, why?
in
Right?
250 minutes with them off the court, it's 30% usage for Terry, 27%.
Sorry. Pause. Before you go. With them off the court, who is the them other than Ball?
With Ball, Hayward, Dennis Smith, Cody Martin, and Mark Williams,
So
who hasn't played.
okay, so there's no Dennis Smith for sure, and there's no
no Hayward.
Okay.
So
that makes more sense now to me. Okay.
Yeah, and actually he is a 1.01 fantasy per minute player than Oubre is. So I mean, it's just a nice pick for a late round.
Okay.
Or it's not even late round, is it? Is it late round? Yeah, it's late round.
30,
I mean,
34
ADP, 19 in ceiling. So if you're using the sheet, I'm pretty sure they're popping. He's number one in difference.
In ceiling difference versus
on just that little sheet. So yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's my answer. That's the shit I did not know. All right, people, if you're still hanging out, there's 30 of us in here right now. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that little bell thingy that I sometimes know. If you hit that little bell thingy, you're gonna know exactly when Numi goes live here. Also sign up in the Discord. You'll get notified when we go live there as well. We're always hanging out. We're always chatting. Hopefully we can port some more people from Pete's stream over here because I saw Crash Rich hanging out in his chat the other day. So it'd be nice to pick his brain in the Discord. That'd be a fun one. Yeah, keep sharing around the good word, right? We're not trying to keep these picks to ourselves. We're not trying to keep this behind closed doors. We're trying to keep growing, keep sharing, keep spreading the wealth. There's probably far smarter people than me playing in these games that I can keep continuing to learn from, and vice versa. So yeah. Anything to add, Numi?
No. I'll just be ready. I'll be going live. I'll give a little update when I do that. Just to draft some more teams, chat, talk hoops, do the business. So
your face keeps freezing in the most awkward positions ever. It's pretty funny. Like 3 in a row there, like your camera's freezing.
I have no idea.
It's still frozen. I don't know.
I can hear you in one AirPod right now, and it's very slim. So
all right. Shout out again. I was inverted. Brandon, Raise It, Baby Stevie. Everybody did so well this weekend. You love to see it. So many good things going on in the Discord. We will be hanging out the remainder of the day, talking through that NBA news. Numi will be back for a live before lock kind of segment. Draft before lock. We should go with that. We can't just rip off the stochastic live before lock. Drafts before lock, something like that. Drafts after dark. Actually, I think Pete does something like that or did something like that. Maybe we can't steal that. We'll come up with something clever. Someone smarter than me will figure that one out.
Probably Nez.
All right, cool. Yeah, probably Nez. All right, thanks everybody hanging out, even though Nez wasn't here. Everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.